Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you're new here, I'm Riot. First and foremost, thanks to those of you who have been watching Weekly Hyperfixations for being so understanding about my move into a more bi-weekly schedule. It's honestly a little bit hard to focus on things that come up in a day-to-day, especially when I have such a current strong hyperfixation on specific things. It's kind of hard to remember to pay attention to things outside of those during that. And also just needing more time to do things. Been a little bit more busy. Been not feeling great as well. Which doesn't help. But I'm doing it anyway, despite just like the past, 2 days not feeling great. Man, sometimes I forget that the things that I have on here, and I have so many things on here. But let me go ahead and we'll just jump into it. Quite a few, mostly spread all over the place things on the agenda this week. However, I will talk about Final Fantasy XIV first, because that's probably the most I have to talk about, because I believe last week was FanFest. In which they announced many things, many big things. First of all, the slogan, if you will, for Final Fantasy XIV, the advertising spiel has gotten an update. So when I first played Final Fantasy XIV, you could only play up through Realm Reborn, I think, for free. But now, oh, where is it? Oh man, I don't know if I actually have that. You can now play up to level 80 in the free trial, which I highly recommend, because it is, the thing about Final Fantasy XIV is the free trial of the game does not have a restriction on how long it takes you, and it gets you up to level 80. So you have all of that time to not have to pay for the game, right? I will say, if you want to like form an FC, so like have a group with your friends, or trade items, use the market board, those things are going to be limited to you in a free trial. However, the whole reason people tell you to do the free trial as long as you can, is because once you start paying for it, even if you technically have more free trial, it changes what you are like in the system. And honestly, you can get several hundred hours of playtime out of it without even, having to pay, for the subscription or for expansions, which is really good. So there's the update with the free trial. And then they announced, and this is crazy because when I first played Final Fantasy XIV, Endwalker had just been announced, right? Which, by the way, Endwalker is crazy, but that's where I'm at in the story. But I started playing Final Fantasy XIV when Endwalker was about to come out. It was like halfway between announcement and being released, I think. But they just announced the next expansion in the critically acclaimed MMORPG known as Final Fantasy XIV, Evercold, which is super exciting, and it looks super cool, and I got to see my favorite character on the screen in the promotion for that, So a fully super artistically rendered, you know, because the models in Final Fantasy XIV only do so much for a character. So when it's a cinematic, they do look a little different. So I got to see the more official version of my favorite character. Big ups for me. And then also, the reason I'm not really going into a huge amount of detail about Evercold is because technically, to be able to talk about it, you would have to know everything through Dawn Trail, with like current content to be able to explain the basis of it. So I shall not do that. And then they announced that the crossover raid series for Evercold will be with Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is crazy. I'm really hoping there's a mount of an Ava unit or something, you know? But I'm really excited for that. Oh, and they'll probably have gear with it too, which means people will have the Ava suits. That's good. I'm excited for that. I do need to get my ass through Dawn Trail though. I haven't even started, so. Oh my gosh. Oh, the movie Project Hail Mary got an extension on its time in theaters. Thank God, because I haven't gotten to see it yet, and I know I will cry my eyes out. And also on that same note, I think it is a very funny thing that I have found that has come up online is that there is a popular ship. One might call, well, actually, I wouldn't call it a crack ship because it's too logical in how it was procured. But a movie about a man forced into space on functionally a death journey. Where have I heard that before? Perhaps Iron Lung? So because of that little connection there, people are shipping the characters of both movies, which is very funny. But also the ship name is Bloody Mary, and that's a banger, actually. And I wanted to bring that up because it's showing that fandom culture is healing a little bit in the way of crossover fanfic. And I'm really glad about that. However, fandom culture is dying in some other ways. People have decided that it's really normal to be mean to people on like AO3. Like to be mean to fanfic authors who are doing this of their own free will and are not paid. They can just stop. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on that. Next thing, very interesting to me, is there was a VTuber in the United Kingdom, Mimi Yanagi, who was arrested recently, and for something that she drew, art that she drew in 2011 when she was not living in the UK at all. And do I agree with like what she was drawing per se? No. However, an artist being arrested for their art, and for it being art that was more than a decade ago and also not made in the country they currently reside in, already pissing me off. But she was required by the United Kingdom government to fully dox herself because she was a VTuber. She had to fully dox herself. And they made it so she's not allowed to draw anything NSFW at all. Not clear whether or not there's an end date on that, by the way. And she was required to delete her old accounts and make new ones with a name, quote unquote, approved by the government of the United Kingdom. So that's terrifying. Because, you know, again, it was something like chibi she had drawn or whatever. And in 2011, not in the country she currently resides. So why is the country she currently resides in trying to police something that happened not in their country and over a decade ago? But on top of that, I immediately worry for people who draw gore in any respect, because I fear that people will think that they are somehow a threat. You know what I mean? Where drawing gore, that's not what that's about. Because think about it, people paint war all the time. But I greatly fear, you know, and, you know, this may be the first case we're hearing of this kind of thing happening, but it definitely won't be the last. And that's really, really bad. And on a similar note of things that are really bad that have to do with art, is that a woman who is the mother of a middle schooler came forward recently to share with the world that her daughter, I think, was given in school a Chromebook or whatever that they mandatorily had to use, required to use this item, and that it has AI features integrated in every aspect of it to the point in which you can't get rid of it. And every single concern is, along the lines of like, I'm sorry, they're pushing it basically right in the formative years of someone's growing up, right when they're hitting puberty, and you're giving them a cop-out on school so that they will be less smart at the end of it. Really? College acceptance rates are going to plummet really badly. It sucks, actually. To the point in which if I was required to go back to school, I would request an accommodation that allows me to turn in all of my assignments handwritten. Because I would rather handwrite a 10-page essay. Genuinely, I would rather write a 10-page essay. And I don't mind if I write the 10-page essay and then I have to type it up, because you can check, with my physical handwritten copy if it's the exact same thing or not, But yeah, it's absolutely diabolical. It was in a public middle school. Presumably higher end if they are giving every student an individual Chromebook that they take home with them. But that shit's diabolical and absolutely disgusting. So, let's talk about something silly goofy. Sorry for talking about some Debbie Downer things. But literally today, as of filming, was announced. There was a 15-minute warning of this Nintendo Direct. Okay. They gave a 15-minute warning via a tweet that said, "This is Miyamoto. We will be having a Star Fox Direct in 15 minutes. Hello? Really? I thought they would wait a little more, but okay. Not only are they remaking Star Fox, and it looks gorgeous, excuse me, but also it's releasing next month, June 25th, 2026. New Star Fox game. I know what a lot of our friend gatherings are gonna look like in July. But that shit's crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Ooh, I wanted to chat to you guys about one more thing before we move on to the pyramid, but I will be right back. For you guys, it'll just be a second, but I forgot to grab the thing I was going to talk about. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to share with the class what I've been doing recently. I have this little binder, okay, and they are all Yukamori cards. Hold on, let me find an angle with less glare. Honestly, this angle seems fine. Oh, the glare is pretty bad. But you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I started collecting Pokemon cards with illustrations done by Yuka Mori, who does clay models as the art. And I'm a big fan of her work. I've got quite a few of them. I don't know if I quite yet have 100, but she's made less than 300 cards, so I feel pretty good about where my collection is at the moment. I don't know how well you can see that, Clefairy. It's kind of, well, that's okay. But I wanted to share that. And then also a smaller collection, I think it's a smaller collection. I've got here, these are just silly guys. This little stack. So those are just silly guys, okay? These are mostly spiders. There's also a spider in my phone. Yeah. And I kind of want every single Galvantula card or Spinnerack. Big on Spinnerack. I have so many. Let's see. Let me count for the class. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 Spinnerack cards. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Joltics. And I have technically 4 Galvantulas. I have 1 that I also have in Japanese. But I just wanted to share with the class that, because I thought that was a silly, goofy, fun thing. I very much love bug Pokemon. I also found another artist that I really like, that I'm considering getting as many bug illustrations from them as I possibly can. It is... which one was it? Oh, it was the person who did that Heracross. Hold on, where is it? I think it was either the person who did Heracross, the Heracross card I have. It was either Saya Tsuruta or where's my Heracross? Taira Akitsu. I like both of those artists a lot. Yukamori cards I just think are really cute because they're clay. And there is a really expensive one because it's a full art tag team card. It's like $300. Which honestly, there are things that I've wanted to collect that are more expensive than that. Because I am also a comic book enjoyer. But these are all of my current Pokemon cards. I had a bunch when I was little, but my grandma got rid of all of them. And I mean, I had like a concerning amount of them. Like I had easily upwards of 4,000 cards when I was little. But anyways, I wanted to share that with the class because that's super fun. Also, my best friend, he's collecting the all 151 original region Pokemon. Not the original cards, mind you, just having like basically a physical Pokedex using cards. And he has also decided that he wants to do the Johto region. So that'll be really fun. I was thinking of doing the Hoenn region, which is also silly goofy. Because I like Pokemon Emerald a lot. Oh my goodness, my neck. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the pyramid. So this week's pyramid is very similar to the last pyramid we had, but and if you were not here for the last episode, the last pyramid we had was genuinely a traditional style Abbey Lee pyramid using my Tomodachi Life Miis. This pyramid is exactly the same, but I have replaced the top spot with something I thought was cute and funny. But aside from the top spot of the pyramid this week, it is still a bunch of my Tomodachi Life Miis. I do think I will keep doing, at least for a couple more pyramids, I will continue to put in my Tomodachi Life Miis. And one of them, I conveniently made this pyramid like genuinely 5 days ago. And I put a character on here who became more relevant today. So, but first up on the pyramid is my Mii of Cinnabar from Hoseki no Kuni, also known as Land of the Lustrous. It is an anime about gems. My Cinnabar Mii was made by one of my housemates who is extremely hyperfixated on Hoseki no Kuni, because I did not trust myself to make a Mii of the character. And you can do the local play transfer of Miis. So, Cinnabar is on the pyramid this week because I have 2 islands. If you're not familiar, I have 2 Tomodachi Life islands at the moment, Yuri Island and Yaoi Island. And Cinnabar and Phosphophilite are on both because they don't really fit on either. Well, in the tradition, they fit on both islands. That was a terrible way of putting it. They fit on both islands, but they aren't considered exclusively Yaoi or exclusively Yuri because they are gems and they are genderless. But Cinnabar fell in love with Foss on both islands this time and confessed to Foss on one of my islands by yelling at him. It was very entertaining. I loved it. Next up on the pyramid, and this is the character that became relevant literally today because of the Star Fox Direct. That's right. It's Leon. First of all, Leon in the trailer for the game looks so fucking cool in comparison to the Mii I have of him, which was also made by the same housemate who made Cinnabar. And on Yaoi Island yesterday, there were like 3 weddings in a row, and one of them was Leon's. Leon, my Tomodachi Life Mii of Leon, got married to my Baldur's Gate 3 character, Basil. So that was excellent. He's definitely just the silliest Mii I have because on Yaoi Island, there aren't really any creatures. It's really just Leon. On Yuri Island, I have a bunch of Miis that have like distinctly non-human coloration. I mean, Cinnabar and Foss have non-human coloration, but it's basically just so pale that it's hard to tell. But on Yuri Island, I have an alien. I have Enna from Dream Barbecue. Or Enna from Enna Dream Barbecue, specifically that Enna. And I'm trying to remember what the other one is. I feel like there's another one on that island that is weird. But on Yaoi Island, the only Mii that has like a wildly different, like vibrant color skin tone is Leon. And he is genuinely the silliest Mii I have. And I don't know how I did that because I didn't create the Mii. I had the Mii on my system because I got it from my housemate, just normally on my Nintendo system. But then I had them input, personality, voice, all that. And I don't know why, but he is probably the quirkiest one I have, which is really entertaining. Oh my gosh. Next up on the pyramid, I made a Mii of Perona from One Piece. Don't know why it took me this long to do it. And of course I made her dress, and it's got the little bat on her shoulder and everything. But she's my favorite Mii because she's the first Mii I've given the curtsy to, greeting others with a curtsy. And how the greeting, you know, a sweeping bow or a nod or whatever, those all make Mies say different things when they greet people. And I've just kind of like pinpointed Perona into like this very cutesy demeanor. And then, you know, her pet is a ghost. Because of course it is. But I think it's very funny to give a Mii the scaredy cat trait and then also a ghost. Also, I finally put a Mii of myself on that island because I was kind of hesitant to do that. But then I was like, yeah, but there's a Mii of my best friend from overseas on here. And I feel like I would love to see Miis of both of us interact with each other. And then the Perona Mii fell in love with the one of me. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, I don't, it's not like I'm like super opposed to it or anything. But I just think it's really funny that I was like, oh, I'll add my favorite One Piece character because I cosplayed her once. And then she like instantly fell in love with me. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I guess. But probably the Mii I'm the most proud of, besides my alien Rachel, who I believe I talked about last week. I did change how she looks though. Rachel looks very different now. She got a makeover, but anyways, that's why Perona is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Baby No Money. My Mii of Baby No Money is crazy. He is married, I think, to Hugh Morris. I think they're married. I'm pretty sure they're married. But he consistently has the funniest cutscenes that he just gets really funny cutscenes. And on top of that, there are new people because Basil got married to Leon. Leon moved into the house that Basil was living in, which already had Baby No Money and Hugh Morris. So now because we've filled out a whole row of that house, I renamed their house to the Baby No Mansion, which kind of eats, actually. Like I thought it was stupid at first, but I'm like, actually, that's pretty good. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. So life in the Baby No Mansion is going great. I gotta give him a new outfit today because he's been wearing the same like biker jacket, leather hat, jeans, and boot. I think boots are Converse or something. He's been wearing the same thing since before he got married. And I feel like I need to just go through and give a lot of my Mii's new clothes today after recording. But Baby No Money is on the pyramid because he's genuinely, I think he's the funniest Mii at the moment on Yaoi Island. And then next up on the pyramid, the funniest Mii on Yuri Island is my Mii of Sabrina Carpenter. First of all, she's easily one of the most fun Miis to dress up because I pretty much only give her cutesy things. Mainly because I'm trying to I'm trying to juxtapose her outfits and Chapel Roan's outfits because I also have a Mii of Chapel Roan. But Sabrina Carpenter as a Mii is very entertaining because it seems that even though she has a lot of friends, she will always be spending time on her own and doing the weirdest shit. And we love her for it. So that's why my Mii of Sabrina Carpenter is on the pyramid. And then lastly, the top of the pyramid, the only thing that is not Tomodachi related on this pyramid that I wanted to bring up is Final Fantasy XIV patch 7.5 came out on my birthday. I am 25 now. Crazy how that works. You can go ahead and call me old. I don't care. I'm graying on like here and here, so call me old. It's fine. Even though, you know, objectively 25 is I've started the next quarter of my life, but that's you know? But anyways, next, the thing I wanted to put at the top of the pyramid this week is from Final Fantasy XIV's 7.5 patch. It is a new minion that I still haven't gotten yet from fishing called Junior Jinbei. Junior Jinbei is a minion of a whale shark, which is my favorite animal literally in the world. Back home is the only aquarium in the world that has them. So I am very attached to this little minion and I don't even have him yet. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I just wanted to put him on the pyramid because he's very cute. And also a lot of the high quality images that people are posting of their Junior Jinbeis are really funny. And I just love them. So that caps out our pyramid this week. Thank you all so much for being here and for being patient while I implemented some honestly last minute schedule changes. I was thinking of moving to a bi-weekly format, but I was considering waiting a couple months before doing it. But in order to combat the burnout I'm experiencing with how many things I'm trying to do in my day-to-day life, I wanted to still be able to enjoy doing weekly hyperfixations. So I thus moved us early into a bi-weekly schedule. And I thank you all for being patient with me for that. I know that means that this is technically not weekly hyperfixations. But I feel like I've been calling it that for so long, I'm not really going to change it. Just for the sake of having something be the same while I'm changing other things. So honestly, with that, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a comment about anything I talked about here today. I've had comments in the past just asking me about whether or not I know a certain band or anything. But comments really help engagement with smaller channels. And I've kind of been in a bit of a lull recently. So I thank you all for still watching, honestly. Thank you all so much. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Same time, same place. And I hope y'all are having a good time. I hope you had a good couple weeks. Hope you have a good time until I see you next. Remember to stay hydrated. It's getting hotter out. So make sure to take time to cool off and have time for yourself. So I'll see y'all then.